Right, hey, good morning. What's this about? Well, there's a group of MPs in Parliament that want to find out more about whether and how remote learning worked in lockdown. So, when schools were limited in their opening and people were asked to use digital tools at home, things like Google Classroom or Microsoft or video conferencing or apps that maybe let you do maths quizzes, things like that. They want to know how that worked for people. And I think it'd be a really good idea if they heard from young people themselves and not just teachers or schools or the technology companies that were more involved. So it's called the All Party Parliamentary Group on Education Technology, the APPG on EdTech. And what does that mean? It means that a group of MPs from different parties are in a committee together and they listen to the evidence, people that submit their views, and then they can put together a report to make recommendations. And I think it'd be great if young people themselves want to get their voices heard, that you submit some evidence. So what they're doing is, and I'm reading some of their background, and you can get a copy of this as well. It basically says they welcome submissions from as wide a range of individuals and organisations as possible. The deadline is quite soon. It's 5 p.m. on Monday, the 5th of October. So they just basically set out, the first nationwide school closures in history saw education settings examine, test, and scale an array of online learning solutions. Don't get bogged down in all that wording. It just means they used a different set of different types of ed tech tools, technology in different ways. Things like BBC Bite Size or virtual learning environments or lesson materials or platforms or games-based learning approaches and things like Google Education and Microsoft. And the group would like to hear evidence as to what solutions worked best and supported the needs of different types of learners, as well as the best practices supported by schools, and also what didn't work, what could have been better and why. And I think it would be really useful to think about, whether there were barriers to using the tools. How easy was it to get in? Did you have the hardware, like a phone or a laptop or a Chromebook or something like that? If you didn't, when did you get one? If you got one later, and how? Or did you have to, manage the solution yourselves? Other people we know didn't get access to anything and they were only able to access paper-based tools. Tell them your story, basically. And it is, trying to explain, whether across primary, secondary, alternative provision, or any type of education setting, what was most effective, whether you had too much or too few lessons, for example, in a day, whether the quantity was good, whether it was more difficult with screen time, like having to be on a computer or a screen all day, or too much or too little, whether that mattered at all, and whether things like what they were offering you worked, like doing quizzes, or whether it was, was it useful to use like BBC Bite Size or Oak National or a broadcast your teacher made, like a video, or do printed materials work better for you? So basically, they want to hear no more than 1,500 words, and it can be much shorter. So it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just tell your story of what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and what you want MPs and the people leading education policy to do differently to make it work better, either now or next time when we might need to do this again. All right, so we're going to put on the details of this, the where you send it to, and it's by 5 o'clock on Monday, the 5th of October. Any questions, I'm going to put my email on this as well, and you can look at it afterwards. Thanks.